All right. We are back at Grit Won't Quit. We're at a chef's series today. So we have Chef Mike in, and we have our friend Joe Leone from Joe Leone's today. How are you guys?
What's going on? Once again, thanks for having us. I appreciate it. Chef series. We're knocking them out of the park. People are loving it. Thank you for all your support on it. By the way, the views have been awesome. We've had some great past guests. A lot of fun. We got the big guy here right now, Joe Leone, good friend of mine, over 30 years. We've known each other.
Yep, man.
Did your hair nice today for us?
And yeah,
Of course, got to slick it back.
It's been a wild story, and we've had some amazing times. And it was good to pair up with him. The beginning, it wasn't so nice. We've had some
Good friendship, though.
Good friendship, though.
Really good, long-time friend. We go
Right.
sometimes 6 months without seeing each other, but we pick up
It's
where
it's right where it starts off.
know.
But so this is I'm going to tell you two funny stories before we start on how I met Joe. One, we opened Marlins in '96, and he was opening his store, and he came over to me. And at the time, back in that day, restaurants were just using commercial bread. It was commercial baked bread. No, there was no like artisan craft stuff like he was doing. That was like for his specialty store. So Joe comes to me, tries to sell me bread, and the price point was just a lot higher because it was artisan. It was really, really nice bread. And we weren't just on that. No one really was on that level yet, except for your store.
Yeah, but you were very, very loyal to John Baruti.
Right. Well,
God
that's
rest his soul.
So, yes.
He was a wonderful friend of yours, grew up with you.
Yes.
And you were like straight up
My
like,
best
listen,
friend. Yep.
I buy from my best friend,
Right.
John Baruti. I'm like, yeah, I know
Right.
John. He was at Harvest House and stuff.
Yes.
And like that's
So
what I said
originally-
to myself. I said I want to be this guy's friend because this guy's like loyal no matter what. No matter what price I would give him, if I was going
Right.
to give him a month's worth of bread at Marlins, you stuck to your core on that.
Yeah, and John was dealing with a lot of Calandra, which had a big name in the New Jersey, you know that. But yeah, my oldest best friend in the world, and he passed away a couple years ago. But he was the one that started the true brick oven breadstick, like created.
Oh,
it,
the best.
Was hand rolling it like for me.
Unbelievable.
And stuff, and like,
He always trying to look for machines. And Joe, what do
yeah.
you think? Let's look at this.
My
Let's
God!
look at that.
But you know what? Too, he always respected you and your product. He always said Joe's put out a great product. Never faltered it. But a lot of the restaurants in the area, and you were doing retail and wholesale at that time, and you found out that the wholesale end of it, it's tough.
The whole point of it is that like collecting money. Like people just let you slide, and they're like, oh yeah, next week, and I'm like, I'm not a banker.
Yes.
And
Yes.
nowadays it's easy to track now because it's like everybody has to give me the credit card and they pay the bill. You know what it is like with wholesale bread, the bread is the cheapest bill in the drawer. So it's like
100%.
you're looking at like a $200 bill a week when you're looking at a $4,000 bill a week for your fish guy.
Yes.
Who's getting paid first? Your fish guy.
And it was even cheaper back then. It was like $80.
Forget it. Yeah, $80.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Baruti would always tell me he'd go out and he'd be like, he'd have to go to a deli, maybe even got $40, and they wouldn't even.
That's what that and
$40.
that was what John said. I got to get out of this business.
Yeah.
I'm chasing my money everywhere,
every day.
And
he did a lot
we
of
only
it.
do a few wholesale. Hopefully, with your new venture,
Yeah, it'd
maybe
be
you
great.
give me a
Yep.
shot in the arm a little
Sure.
bit. Give me a shot.
Well, we're doing more artisan stuff now, so like that, the new style, the new culture is not so much giving away, because you really don't want to give anything away for free. Is do a nice artisan basket, an elevated basket.
People actually charge for it.
Well, that's what it is. We're going to charge for it $8, but we're going to have focaccia, nice bread.
You hear that $8? So I got to figure out what I'm going to charge you. So.
But we're also going to
Okay.
do piped whipped butter,
Yeah.
with different flavors.
Have you tried my mozzarella butter?
I have not, but I'm
I
interested
have.
in that.
I love it.
Sounds great.
It's awesome.
But anyway, so that's where we started, and I was like, this guy's out of his mind, too much money. But we weren't in that mode yet. Like now it's a no-brainer because everybody's in that mode. Like really, if you put out a commercial bun now at a high-end restaurant, you're going to get laughed at. You're going to be laughed out at the world if you don't have a nice panelle or a boule, whatever it is.
Boule.
But
Brioche.
But even like me, for me, I'm all about seeded semolina. I'm about as crusty seeded semolina. I can eat that all day long with some warm butter.
That's
all
what you
I
get
need.
all the time when you come in the
That's
JL.
all
man.
I need. That's all I need. I'm favorite with that. So anyway, long story short, me and Joe, he was in the neighborhood. We were supporting each other. We're going there, checking it out. It was really cool. And then we kind of came up together with all the different restaurants and stuff.
There's two sides of the story that when we hit heads one night.
With the buffalo shrimp. Son of a bitch. You want to tell it, or you want me to tell it?
Go ahead. I want to hear your version.
All right,
of it,
well,
30 years
no,
later.
it's the right version, but because I was the one cooking it. Joe, he of course, and he still does today. He supports all the local places. He came out and was supporting us and got food to go. So we had a buffalo shrimp on our menu. It was a little small shrimp. We tossed it over a salad. It was a buffalo shrimp salad, and so we ordered it to go. And about a half hour later, get a call. Hey,
But I had to make it Caesar salad. That was
yeah,
the first.
I
It was
got-
a regular size. I said, can I make it Caesar salad, please?
Which already I'm like, I'm going to choke this guy out. So he comes, we talk, blah, blah, blah. Then I get a call half hour later, hey, I only got like 3 or 4 shrimp on my, what are you going to do here, I'm like, this guy is out of his mind.
You really called?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just
Hey,
sitting there. I'm
break
just
that
saying to
off.
myself, because I know what this stuff costs in the background.
Yeah.
But and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, this guy gives me. I could tell he was a little perturbed because I'm sitting at the bar. Emma goes over to the. I wasn't even old enough to drink back then, believe it or not. I'm sitting at the bar having a soda, and I see him go there, and all of a sudden I see a short guy there. Boy, I go like this. I said, "Oh man, I upset this guy." And then I'm looking at the shrimp, and I'm like, what is this? I said, this is 3 little shrimp. I mean, they were like little
Yeah,
shrimp.
really little shrimp. They were
And I said to
battered
her,
fried.
hey, yeah, come back. I'll put you more shrimp on it. And he busts my chops about that
Yeah,
for
the
years.
buffalo shrimp story. But over the years, we became really good friends, and then we started
Absolutely.
traveling together. We started going to food shows all over the country. And the good thing about Joe is his palate is very refined. He's eaten at the best restaurants in the world, and traveled all over the world, and really ate at Michelin star restaurants. And I was a part of a bunch of them that we got to go
we've had
out.
some good times,
and,
good meals.
He's Italian. He has Italian specialty market, but his palate is everything. He loves Asian. He loves all different French, like all different kinds. He is a CIA grad, believe it or not, which is fine.
He's
I'm
another.
Johnson.
He's the other schools.
I'm Johnson and Wales. But his palate is very refined. So when we go out, we would always try a new restaurant or try a new technique, and we get ideas. Especially he knew that I was into that, so I could actually execute those ideas. But he would put it in the back of his head, going, hey, maybe I could put a twist on this or do something with this. And we did a lot of Japanese, and he started doing Italian sushi, rolling it with fresh mutts and gabagool inside. And it was really, he was the one doing that before anybody else. Now everybody does it, but you were doing that way before. But before we get into like costs, one of the other funny stories is we traveled a lot. We went everywhere, but like I said, we ate in the best restaurants. So
I'm going to keep it on culinary travel. We're not going to go into the other stuff. That
Yes,
we
right.
got
So we
involved
go
in.
to New York. We get a reservation at Nobu at the time, and it's one of the best restaurants at that time, the best Japanese restaurant in the world. Very almost impossible to get in. We get in. We go to Nobu, and we order all of this cool stuff.
What a memory.
Right? And you're at Nobu, and you get chopsticks. So he looks at it, he goes, waiter, and the guy's Japanese, comes over, bowing to him, because he looks like Godzilla, right? He goes, I don't eat with, I'm Italian, I eat with a fork. I don't eat with chopsticks. Give me a fork. To the guy. The guy was horrified. He didn't know what the hell to say, the poor guy.
We invented the fork. The Italians invented the fork.
We're dying laughing so hard that Nobu gave him a fork. They must have had one hidden in the back somewhere for gumbats like this.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what Joe was.
Italians
But-
invented the fork, so I give homage to my heritage. We invented the fork. Caterina de Medici.
But
I would
were
love
at-
to see you with the chopsticks.
Oh no.
I don't eat with them.
But we were eating at Nobu, and we ate. Our bill was like $3-4 grand.
God, that night.
Didn't we make? We're drinking out of frozen bamboo stalks with sake.
Oh, I love
Like
it.
they're like $50
Yeah.
a pop. And we're like,
Yeah.
keep them coming. That's like Glenn Gordon paid for everything. We made our good friend, one of our purveyors, pay for the whole.
He went to high school with him,
Yeah,
but he's one of our best.
it was like $5 grand to eat at Nobu for like 4 of us. It was great. But anyway, so let's talk. Let's get down to the business. So part of the podcast here, as you guys know, is we talk about a couple different things. We X the chefs about trends and cost and how we move forward and competition and so forth. So we're going to start it off with trends. So what, in your opinion, and this is all your opinion because we got a different answer from everybody, what do you think is the most overrated food trend today?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Overrated food trend. Just a lot of people are getting a little crazy with the amount of ingredients that they put in a dish. They don't keep it simple. Trend wise, I want to say what's very frustrating for me is I love the tapas concept, but the tapas is starting to get a little bit out of control as the dishes are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're really starting to get really expensive. I love the small idea of tapas. I love the Asian style too, but some of the things are getting a little out of control. That would say the only frustrating with me with trends. Does that kind of answer that right a little bit, or?
So on the flip side, what is the most underrated trend?
Oh, I mean the more the traditional like flavors of what was going on in years ago. I mean, I love to see things like that are from like classical French make it to the plate, but with the modern style. That's one of the things where I can see. I mean, what kind of trends are you into lately? I mean, maybe give me a little bit of feedback.
I mean, the things I don't like, I'm not a fan of smash burgers because I was always taught never to push down on meat with steaks or burgers.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a lot of the fat,
all the juice,
and the juice and
the
everything.
fat is juice equals flavor.
Right,
so
right.
I don't know where this came from or who.
I mean,
designed this.
steakhouses too. Some of the steakhouses trends that are overrated in a lot of ways, but everything in a steakhouse to me is sides. Like if the sides are great, that's like a really good focus.
Right.
We have really good purveyors and stuff, but let's face it. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of steakhouses are taking everything out of a mass-produced IBP box and open it up, and it's not even really aged. It doesn't even have any flavor on the outside. Some of those things.
Right.
That's how you tell that it's a good steakhouse when you got like the juice coming off the mold that was off the side of the calf. And
you see what I find is that when something hits, like a trend hits, everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and then like a year or two later it fades out. Like barbecue was a big thing. Like there was no barbecue around anywhere. Then Doug started it with the artisan barbecue, the craft barbecue of not the mass-produced stuff where actually hardwood
real good smoke ring on the bark and all that. Yeah.
And then he brought that to point. And now there's 50 barbecue places in the area now. And I think everybody kind of jumped on the bandwagon. And there's some good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some really good places. And we had Doug. We talked about that with Doug. But the once people see like the smash burger, everybody started doing smash burgers. And then one year was the slider craze. Remember the slider? Everybody had to do slider, and I was even part of that. We have sliders on our menu, but it's over now. I think an underrated concept for me would be like a true Japanese restaurant or Pan Asian, because most of the sushi restaurants are not Japanese. There's hardly any of them actually. So let's talk about this.
709. You had great sushi there.
Yeah, we had
good.
Sushi Allen took it over.
Alan,
and he really did a nice job. The Reef Club, we had great sushi chefs. Every place I ever went to, and it all started. That whole thing started with sushi. Pairing was Pork Bistro.
But you know what you were eating though. Like you were like very versed in it. Like I've been to sushi places that you would just be like, no. Yeah, and then some sushi restaurants like, this guy knows what he's doing. I mean, that was really cool when we went to that place in Miami, Lamar. Remember that place, Lamar? And they were doing the Japanese and into the Peruvian, because in Peru there's a lot of Japanese influence and Chinese influence. But like you were very impressed with like those flavors. Were unreal.
Because it was a fusion. The fusion started a long time ago, but there was a place called Parkside Bistro in Madison.
The Romanos.
Yes, and they're the ones that did the Italian with the sushi.
They were one of my first bread accounts.
And that was the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah. So hopefully they paid that bill every week.
Yeah, they paid.
They were good.
They were good like that. They were solid guys.
They did Degustare after that.
Yep, and everything with that. They always made sure they were solid. Actually, Danny Alpog, rest his soul, he just passed away. He was the original chef, and then he came and worked for me. Dan just passed away on Christmas Eve. He was a great chef.
Yes, I remember that.
And Dan worked for me for a number of years. He worked for me. He left. He came back. He was great.
But they started that whole, like you go to an Italian joint and then you get a sushi roll. You're like, what is like the fusion? And this was like way before anybody else was doing it. They
totally.
And everybody.
Vincenzo's still working for me.
Yeah,
Vincenzo, phenomenal chef. But now he's in my maintenance department because he's like even better as a builder and cabinets and everything else like that. But he was an unbelievable talent. He was the first chef. They brought him down from New York.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Because
Vincenzo and Danny worked together, and then they broke off, and then I both had that duo come into Joe Leone's, and that was the greatest run we've had in a really long time. I mean, the stuff that they would create with me adding to what we wanted to do, and then like Chris and Willie,
awesome.
and I mean, like it just was a great.
And they were super nice. What a bunch of nice guys.
Oh God,
like,
Dan was the
super
best.
nice.
Dan was the best.
But like so that moving forward, like that's where like the trends were. But so what would you say, in your humble opinion, again, is the most positive thing about the food service industry?
Oh, I mean,
What was your most positive
positive
aspect?
thing is look, it provided for my family and many families. I mean, we've employed thousands of people through the years. I just love cooking for people. I love making people happy. I love baking. I love when people come back and they come back and they come back. And you know that feeling. I mean, for all the restaurants you've been to, of seeing the same faces over and over again. There's some frustrations about it. It's a very, very hard business. It's sometimes in some ways it becomes very thankless sometimes, where sometimes due to different trends, people don't appreciate it as much as they used to. But just with me, I'm more of a basic approach most of the time. Like we make meatballs. We make tons of meatballs. People that come in and say, you make meatballs just like my grandmother, is like the biggest compliment.
Yeah, sure. I can see that.
And just different dishes, or seeing the same people come in for special dishes on Christmas Eve and stuff. It's very important. And that's what keeps me going, is that the fact that the love is still there with the histories of memories, but then also now a lot of people are foodies.
Yes.
Which there's two different types of foodies. There's foodies that will go on Yelp and talk about everything like they're like breaking it down like a food critic. Some things you get some good stuff out of it, and some things are horrible. But then you get foodies that really appreciate food and are into it. And I noticed like a lot of with this generation, they like to talk about cooking. So that's coming back of them actually cooking. I mean, there's plenty of times that people are offering me, we want you to come up to the Hamptons and spend the weekend in my house with your family, but we want you to show us how to cook, and we want to do like a little cooking class and stuff. So that kind of is really cool. I haven't really done that too much yet.
You want to do it this summer?
Huh?
You want to do that this summer?
What, up to your house in the Hamptons?
My uncle lives in the Hamptons. Why don't we let's do a road trip.
I've never been to the Hamptons.
But I think we should do it.
Let's do it.
It's beautiful. I've been there. It's
That'd be
gorgeous.
fun.
Cook
Never
for the
been there.
weekend. We'll learn some new traditions.
Whatever you want to do.
You'll tell the stories. It would be great.
All
Listen,
right.
he comes at a high price though, so be prepared.
Listen, I'm gonna send the bill to
My
uncle.
bread, my wholesale bread at your new place is going to be high priced.
So the other thing was, what is on the flip side of that? What is the dark side of the industry as a whole? What is the evil part?
Well, the dark side is it's a very transient. It's loyalty, like I just said, like you loyal to Baruti. I mean, sometimes the loyalty isn't there anymore. That's really frustrating. And sometimes it's just a lot of chaos. Just a lot of chaos being brought into the kitchen. I mean, I think COVID really scrambled the eggs, per se, in a culinary term. I mean, like, you had people that were doing it for years. They had that time off. I was very happy that I was able to keep my team members employed during the whole time, and we give it as an option. If you want to leave, you feel unsafe, you leave. But then on the other side of things, it's just people went away. People didn't come back. People did not. They didn't want. They figured, I'm home. I'm looking on the computer. Maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll go back to school, take courses online, and then like you're really good talent. Now all of a sudden it's like a restart. In 2020, 2021, now you're training people now where you used to train these people that were like there for career. And the other part is like it's really great when people stay for you for a very long time, but then you reach a cap. And that's one of the things where you just can't afford to pay more money, because the jobs that are being done is still the jobs of before, and it's tough. I hope that makes sense. If
No, it
I'm
does.
making
It
that.
makes 100%. What I found was, like you said, the loyalty is huge. because people back then would want to work for you and were proud to work there and let me help you. How can I help you? Now it's the me world.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do for me
What are you gonna
today?
do for me?
Yep.
And some of the things that's really disheartening too about the business is that like it's in that like, what have you done for me today? It used to be, what have you done for me lately? People remind you, well, I'm on time. I show up, I'm on time for work, and I'm a good employee. That doesn't make you that, And I'm the type of person where team members, they work. I like to work with them. John and I like them to work with us. It's not about working for me. So there's not that like senior, like let's work together and just do something together. And believe me, anyone that's listening that are team members, I love all my team members. I love some of my past team members. I love some team members that work for me that didn't really leave off on good terms that I still love and I'm very grateful for. All the different you go into my store, you see the big mixer with all the signatures on.
That's awesome.
I'm very proud of them, but there are I am a little concerned. The work ethic or the kids coming out of culinary school today is really
that's a whole nother topic. But do you feel like someone would leave you for $1 if they got more down the street?
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's hard though. It's like we're in New Jersey, things are expensive, but yeah. I mean that whole thing was like I'm out, I'm going, okay, and and they always go when it's busy. They never go when it's slow.
Of course,
in the
that's
wintertime. That's always natural.
I've always had the issue of people holding me over the barrel in the middle of summer when we're super busy on a Saturday night and go, we got 300 reservations and pull me down to the office and go, well, you got to pay me X amount of dollars or I walk out right now.
That should be a crime. You should call up the police. You should call the police and say, listen, what?
What you do is
what is that called? Blackmail? What is that called?
Yeah, that's blackmail.
But or being hauled over the barrel, which I've been, every year I get it. And for me, it's as an owner, like, what do you do? Like, you have 300 reservations, you need this person, you can't, it doesn't go. How many times, and this is going way back, that I called you because people walked out on me. And
we ran down there.
Yeah, I go, what do you got? You got any of your boys? And you
I
came
said
down,
Vincenzo down and Willie
you came
and
down
Chris.
with your crew and bailed me out because I had no one. It was me on my own island.
And to this day, for that, you don't ever let that go. You never let me pay in your restaurant, and it's ridiculous that you do that. It was my pleasure to help out my friend.
But listen, like
Wasn't
that,
meant
Hopefully you didn't just give out three small shrimps that night.
Yeah,
No,
I
the
think that's what he
three
got
shrimps
paid in.
were,
3 buffalo shrimp and beat it, yo.
There's every once in a while he busts my chops. If it's a slow night, I'll get like this Caesar salad with a mound of buffalo shrimp on it.
Oh, that's great. I love
Yeah, he
that. I
always
love
busts
that you
my
do that.
But
Mike has the best memory I know of anybody.
Yeah.
He can remember something.
not so
from
much
30
anymore.
years
I'm
ago.
getting too old. But
That's
no,
hilarious.
The true dealio is that no one. It's not like the old days where everybody was loyal. And the other thing is people. It's like you said, transient work where people actually used to do this for their career. You don't see that anymore.
Yep.
You just see people going from point A.
You know what it is though, Mike? Like years ago, we always had like an unsaid rule: you never take anybody else's sheep. You never take anybody else's people. That's a big no-no, especially down here at the Jersey Shore when I first came here. But like that seemed to like kind of go away, and people will capitalize on that. They sit there and say, "Oh, you worked for Chef Mike? Oh, you work for here?
Yep.
Well, come on, I'm going to get you." And it becomes and that's not competition. That's basically taking a one up on you, and trying to get that out, and you got to reset. And I take that as a compliment that like, okay, you want one of my guys or you want one of my ladies to come and work for you. Okay. But as long as it's done correctly, you're not happy working for us and, give a reason, give 2 weeks, like 2 weeks notice is great. If you're going to give a real 2 weeks notice, if you're going to do 2 weeks and you're going to work to the end, I'll do anything for you. But like that whole, I give 2 weeks and then they go and they start going, oh, well, I'm going here and this is where I'm going and they pay more at this place and da-da-da. It just, like I said, that's the chaos. That's the drama. That's the whole, and I can't say that I've experienced, pay me more money now or I'm going to leave. I've experienced that, but then we say bye.
Right.
And I say bye because I've been very blessed enough to have the business that I always have backups and backups and backups. And I'm big into cross training.
Right.
So like if a baker leaves me, I could pull Willie and say, Willie, you're going to be baking. Can you come in and help me bake?
Huge.
Hey, Vincenzo, you're in the maintenance department, but you know what? This guy just walked out. I mean, we have walkouts and things like that. People, what I think is really, you talk about the dark side is that it's not even just getting this generation, and I'm not saying all the generation. There's like, I would say 6 out of 10 people fall into this fold that I'm talking about. You got four that come in, they work, they're on time, they want to learn, they're open. But like the other ones spoil it for everybody. And what I mean about that is the sensitivity of saying, you know what, you're not doing that. Yes, I am. That's what I learned at culinary school. Well, what are you talking about? Well, this is the culinary school. Yeah. See, and I always say I went to the CIA. I did not formally graduate from the CIA, but I went there, and it's culinary schools are like when people say, "Oh, my daughter wants to go to culinary school, Joe. Would you want to talk to them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll talk to them because you're not a chef when you go there. You come out culinary trained,
right?
And maybe you got A's and B's, but that doesn't mean." I remember you called me, a CIA guy was on the line. You're like, look at this. He's videotaping him. Look at this, Joe. This is what your people do. This is what your people do. But well,
that's a big misconception. You're not a chef. You have to earn that.
Yep. But I think that's in regular business school too. Like guys get 4-year degrees and then they come and work at Wingman and they don't know anything.
You want to own a business? I always say this, like, I've had people come in, I'm an operations director, I'm a COO. I got a great COO now. I'm very, very happy with. But like, you don't know how to run a business when you can't make payroll on Monday and you're scraping around the best way you can. That's the best business degree you could possibly get is how did I swing that?
Yep.
100%. Having like, Johnny Hill smoking 10 cigarettes out on the push, like, Joe, man, we were like down 15%. The weather was really bad and, And, thank God we've been blessed. We've always had backup money and whatnot. Yeah, John writing on his hand, like who to pay, who not to pay. But like those are them. Like people sit there and go, oh, I got a business degree. I love the fact that you can get a business degree, but like a business degree is like survival.
Yeah, and no one knows until you're in the trenches.
And you don't, you don't know until it's your turn to have that problem.
Absolutely.
And no matter how good of a business operator you are,
it's a great thing to be. It's a great thing to be an operator. I mean, American dream. I'm so blessed with what has become Joe Leone's, and having that opportunity to run my own business, or to be self-employed. I check back. I'm self-employed.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
But it's.
So speaking of that term, so you put out a higher end product. Your products are not hash house stuff. You put out a nice product, right?
Thank you, Michael.
And with that, there's a cost involved.
Sure.
And you've seen over the years the costs go up. It just keeps going up. Yes. I mean, every day I look at, because the business that we're in, we talk about is commodity business. So every week the price of chicken is different. Every week the price of meat is different, the fish, and so forth, so on. And how do you keep your level of quality and maintain a cost where people are not boycotting you and saying we can't afford it anymore? How does that play into, and I'm not even getting to the labor yet, because that's a whole nother thing of labor we got into. But let's say out of the whole pie, food cost is 30-35% in reality. Mm-hmm. I mean, we want to keep in the 25s, but reality, yes, there's lost leaders. There's a pasta dish that you're going to do an 8% on. But there's a sliced meat dish, or your roast beef is a 30%.
It's all about the buying, the procurement. It's just having a good, strong buying team that actually buys right for keeping the principles of the quality. I mean, like they always, we always say, what are the core values? Our core values is to give our guest the best quality that money can buy.
Right.
Now, it does become a very concerning issue of like, how much am I pricing myself out of the market for? And it's very surprising to me that people, they try to get business by, I'm going to put tons of meat on their sandwich, and I'm going to, mound it all up, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But like, I worry for those types of businesses that are out there that don't really know their food cost, because they sit there, and what happens is they don't know their food cost, and then things happen, and it's like, but I get this for this, I get that. It's very hard to compete because the prices are very high. I really believe is giving a good, and I don't like to use the word value, but I don't know what the other word is. I want someone to go home and get a sandwich from Joe Leone's, or get a dish that might be $29.99 a pound.
Right.
And say, you know what, this was expensive, because it is. I'm not going to sit there and say it's not.
Right.
And say, wow, this was good. This was worth it. This was worth spending the money. This was worth being online for, and staying online and waiting for the door to open and to get that product. That's my whole philosophy on pricing out things. It's scary. You know, things are very expensive. I never put things on sale. I never do buy one get one free. That's just not we just started a loyalty program where you get dough back, where you get points and stuff.
Right.
It's really neat that Jason and Amanda put together, and also my nephew Evan that I'm really proud of. You know, doing all different types of things Johnny and I could never do. Put like loyalty with points and all these different types of things.
No, it's the way to do it.
But the prices will stay the same. You know, you'll get like a $5 back or something like that, but the prices stay the same. I always, you know, Fiore's in Hoboken, the Kings of Mozzarella, which they do make the best product out there. They always used to say, a good mozzarella is always remembered after the price is long forgotten. And that is basically says it all in that. But I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else just to try to make a good quality product.
Well, on the side note of that, so this is my most favorite thing that you do, when we were talking about this all the time, and it blew my mind. And you've been doing it since day one, because I've been there at the small store day one when you had the big hanging plastic provolones. It was very funny. But anyway,
couldn't afford provolone. I needed plastic.
But what he does on the hotline, okay, which I've never seen anybody else do this in my life. Everything that he sells is by weight, okay, by the pound, by weight. So they put everything on a scale, and that's the price.
I eat there enough. I know
so
all
my
about
favorite
it.
thing is chicken franchise.
Okay.
Love it. Okay. Give me 2-piece chicken franchise. Okay. They take the 2 pieces out, put in the thing, and then weigh it, and that's
we
the
tear
price.
the container.
Then they say, would you like sauce, extra sauce? Yes. They don't add that to the weight.
That's
It's
great.
like you're paying for it already, but to nickel and dime you,
Oh.
because everybody else would have dumped that sauce on there, because that's added weight. But he's not, so he's giving you a great product, but he's not, but he does that with every item.
Yep.
The meatballs. Give me 2 meatballs. Would you like extra marinara with that? Would you like grated cheese and parsley on that?
Yep.
That comes after
The weight.
The weight.
I am a.
That's huge, dude. I'm telling. I've told you that for 30 years. I've never seen anyone do that in my entire life, and I've been everywhere. Never seen one, because people look at it as, that's my money, I want that weight. For me, it's like holding your hand on the scale, putting your thumb on there.
And that's some things that like
But people, if you don't see
old
that,
butchers and old Italians, I'm proud to be American Italian, but like that was just a stigma that we would have, you know, putting the ice in the chicken and weighing things down.
Yeah.
I want to be able to sleep at night and have good morals of it. And you know, those plastic containers cost a lot of money. We tear those containers when we put the layers of
they're
the
microwave
prosciutto.
contains, so you can go home and eat them. But
Or
also,
the prosciuttos, and when you do
the
the
cold
meats.
cuts are all laid out perfectly in a nice. It's not like you go to regular Stop and Shop and they're just taking the cold cuts and put them on top of each other.
different experience.
It's here's laid out nice, wrapped properly. Come on, man. You know, so what? You're paying an extra $1.
Yep.
It's worth it. Even for the chicken franchise, it might be $18. It's worth it, because you know what? First of all, I'm getting B&E, or a top-rated chicken. But the without them nickel and diming me, I pay $100 a day, because I feel like I'm getting the value there.
I have been.
And I've always said that, right? You know, I've always said that. And every time I go and I smile because I always order a bunch of different.
I know you do.
And anything with a sauce or a gravy or anything that you have that, it's always added on after the end of the weight. It's not, let's bang this guy. Let's bang him with the extra. Because listen, sauce is weight.
Absolutely. 100%.
You know, a marinade is weight. That could be an extra couple ounces.
What were you
which is
saying, though?
$12.
I was saying I've been a Joe Leone's fan since I moved from New York to New Jersey. I met Joe very early on when I as a customer, and I've been going there for years, and I don't think that the prices. I think the prices are great. I never have, like, anytime someone says to me, "Oh, Joe Leone's expensive," I'm like, let's go talk about this. And I look at, and I'll compare it to another store and say, but you get this, but you get this. This is fresh.
This is the way I look at it, okay? So here's the thing, you know, we need food to eat. We all do, okay? But then there's also people that are blessed enough that they can afford to think outside the box. Like, you need bread, you need milk, you need cheese, you know, you need water to survive and stuff where you go to a supermarket, right? I feel blessed that people come to me and get in their car and they come to our locations and they'll come in and they will just even look outside the box of like, okay, I'm here because I want to taste good food. And it just means something to me. So I want to treat you that if you're like my friend, I'm not going to put sauce on you. I don't have to get one up on you. Right. And a lot of people have that recommend. You know, I could take you to stores, and you know that you're paying for the same box of macaroni, but the macaroni's not going into the bag. It's like the lady at the counter, like, you know, everything you respect it because people have worked hard to be able to come in. And you know, sometimes people get upset with. I'm sure somebody will see this podcast. Wow, I'm paying all this money. I shouldn't be waiting online. I want people to savor the experience at Joe Leone's. Our team members are trained the best way we possibly can train them. They're moving as fast as they can, and those little things take time. Layering the cold cuts or slicing our sandwiches. We're not just like grinding out sandwiches and pumping it out. And you know, unfortunately, you know, those are the frustration parts that I have of being like thankless sometimes. It's like, hey, I got to go on the beach. You're saying that to someone that's working all day on Saturday and Sunday so that you can have sandwiches so that you can go on the beach. Instead of saying, hurry up, I got my friends waiting for me to go on the beach. Meanwhile, they're sweating there making 1,000 sandwiches a day. You know? Those are some of the things that are my complaints, because I'm complaining. Not complaining. I'm just saying, you know, please consider. We're trying to give you an experience here. We're trying to see that with that roasted pepper that we just roasted and peeled by hand, that we're laying that onto your sandwich, or the mozzarella that we make by hand. That I go and I make sure that the milk and our curd is made a certain way.
It's so hard though to go in your place and just get one thing, because first of all, your case is beautiful. Your hot line is beautiful. Your cold line is. I mean, the way you present it and the way you make it, when you can't go there hungry. Don't ever go there hungry. You're in for a grand if you go there hungry. But when you start on that,
you need more of his. We need him coming in more.
Hotline and work your way down. You're like, oh my God, I want the stuffed artichoke. I gotta get the eggplant roll. I gotta get the meat pie. I gotta get the eggplant pie, because it looks so good.
I agree.
But it tastes so good. Like, again, and I don't have to tell you, but you got the best fresh mutts in the world. We use it at the restaurant. I would go in. Does Dario still work with you, Dario?
No, Dario's back in Colombia.
Oh, really? So this guy,
the little Italian guy from Colombia.
Dario. Dario's the best.
So
but we have a woman that's making mozzarella, Linda and Rosaria, unbelievable mozzarella makers.
So I would go in the morning. Really,
and Juan Carlos is awesome also.
I would have to pick him up in Point, because I would get it in a big hook. We get 24, 30, whatever. And they were still warm. So Dario would give it to me warm. He just got done making it, right? I'm driving from Point all the way down to Seaside.
Eating one like it's an apple.
There's no way I'm not going to have a warm one.
I know.
The warm mozzarella is the best.
You remember the day you're in your Hummer, you're eating a warm mozzarella, and I'm bringing bread down to, what is that, Big Ed's Produce.
Okay, sure.
And I show up at the light, and we just get like right into like Lavalette, and there's Mike with a big piece of mozzarella biting into the mozzarella.
The milk would go down my shirt like this. I look a scafangoul.
I love it. I love it.
A piece of I
love scuff. I love it.
But anyway, so we're going to wrap it up, but we're going to talk about one more thing. We're going to, besides giving you accolades. So I've known you also for a long time, and there's always been, because you're very successful at what you do, and you brought something to the area that no one, at that time there was nothing. And there's been some workers that left you and started competition, and there's other places that opened up and they all failed miserably. And
I don't know.
But because they try to go head to head with you, and it's almost like, you know, you can't beat up Andre the Giant. It's too big. It's too big of an organization to go head to head with.
Wow.
Because they see his success and they go, I can do that. I could make sandwich. I could make mozzarella, and they see it. They learn it from him. I could do a penne vodka sauce, or I could do this. And I've watched personally a bunch of stores open up, and within a year just crumble.
You know, we've had some teammates that actually left and went on, and I love the fact that they go after the American dream. They deserve that.
100%.
And, you know, I love
but
I love when they do it right. When they come up to me and say, hey, Joe, I'm opening up a store, this and that, I will help you. I will set up your store with you. I will do anything for you. But when it goes like behind your back, I haven't really had a lot of those. Really not that many.
Especially in your own town, though. I mean, when they're down the street from you.
I mean, I would love to.
Remember that one joint down the street by Mark Goodyear?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I just, listen, I don't mind competition when everybody plays right. I want to be your friend. I want to help you. I want to be there for advice. If you run out of something, I am there for you. There's too much that we grew up with. That was one thing from the past that I'm glad that hopefully it's wiping out of that, like cutthroat, back and forth. Oh, my stuff is better. Let the food tell for itself. Let the guest tell you if it's right or right. And you know what? If you're not doing better than them, then do better than them and make it better. You have people, like Lenny's Market just opened up down the street from us, right?
Yes.
I love
In
that.
Manasquan.
I love Darren Arms, the father, I guess the son of Lenny. I don't really
Old
know
school
them.
Point Pleasant.
Right. Great guy. Darren and I, big Giant fan, great guy.
Yes, I remember.
I'm so happy that his boys are taking over his legacy and taking over the business and everything else, and they moved down to Manasquan. But they're different. A lot of people like to, oh, Joe, what do you think? Joe, what do you think? What do you got? Oh, Lavodi's are coming. We're all different. That's what the best part about human beings. Everybody's different. Some people will come to me for certain things. Some people will go to them for certain things. And maybe they might sell the same of certain things. That's why it's America.
Yeah.
Pursuit of happiness.
Yep.
But go about it right. Brandon, he's unbelievable on the social media.
Yeah.
With the cowboy hat and everything like that. Heidi ho. But good for him, man. It's great. I mean, they're young, they're strong, and like I said, a lot of our team members are like, oh, what do you think? Is this going to hurt us? I'm like, it hasn't, and it won't, because we know what we do, and it's probably good for us. It's
bringing more people into the
bringing more
neighborhood.
people in the neighborhood. It's all good.
Sure.
And like a lot of times, people just like to get under you to see if there's like a little bit of insecurity or reaction to it. You know what? It's all good.
You've been around long
a few
enough.
of my team members went there to work. Great. Enjoy. It's all good. John Lavodi, master. I mean, what he started around the same time as me, maybe a little bit left. I mean, he has 5 stores. The brick location is great. It's not apples to apples. He does quantity.
Yes.
Not saying that his product isn't quality. I'm just saying he does quantity. It's a supermarket with Italian essence, and they have an Italian last name. We're an Italian specialty. We specialize in certain items, specialty items. It's all good.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I don't
There's
ever
a place
mind.
for everybody.
But then, with that guy, I even forget the name when you're talking down by Mark's place.
Yeah, I have no idea
right?
where I forget who it
Or by
Yeah, I said
Allen's
one
Auto
a
Body,
hot
right?
minute.
But he's my food is better than Joe Leone's. Finally the good Italian food's coming.
Yeah,
his
no, he
food
went
is,
head-to-head with you.
His
He was
food
calling-
is
he was
garbage.
calling you out.
And I called him up and I said to him, I think his name was Dom or something like that, or Sal. I said to him, I'm like, you don't have to do that. Do what you do. I do what I do. I'll shop and get something that I want to taste. That's something that maybe I don't make.
Right.
But just do what you do and let's just be friends. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
You're my
competition-
friend.
Yeah, but competition.
After you gypped me down for this shrimp, you're still my
I made
friend.
up for it. You got about 50 more pounds after that. So.
You're right about that, brother.
But listen, no, competition's good. You've been around long enough that you're very well established. So for someone to come in and really try to they're out of their minds.
It's a compliment.
It's not going to happen.
If I was doing things wrong,
right.
If I was doing things wrong,
But also, if
then
you
I
were
would be.
just
They
starting
wouldn't
out,
want to duplicate.
if
you
you
know?
were just starting out, it might be a
Yeah.
different
A little
conversation
different,
because
yeah.
then you would have to really find the niche. But you got the niche already. You got it down, man. You got your people there, man.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And
brother.
you know what? There's not a soul on this earth that doesn't know you or you know your name.
I don't know about that.
No, listen, everybody I say, blah, blah, blah. Because when, we were coming to a point, I'm like, I'm going to collab with Joe Leone.
This whole thing became like an advertisement for Joe Leone.
We're going to do mozzarella. We're going to do burrata.
You're not too shabby yourself, man.
You
Yeah.
can still do mozzarella down in
but
Seaside.
I texted him, I'm like, you do burrata because I have an idea for burrata. But guess where I want to get my burrata from? The guy who makes burrata. I want my seated semolina. This is the guy. There's
This chef's here is a little different. He likes Joe Leone.
Yeah, well, like I said, 30 years.
We're
we've
tight.
known.
We're tight.
We
Mike, I'm really proud of you about this project that you're doing, man. Down
Yeah,
in
no, it's going to
Seaside.
be
I think
exciting.
this
It's
is
going to be very
great.
exciting. We're going to do a whole nother podcast about it. But
I'll be there.
Stay tuned. Of course you will. We're
I'll
gonna
be
invite you
there,
down for
brother.
soft opening.
All right, my man.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much. Where can we find you?
Joe Leone's,
Yeah,
Point
where
Pleasant and
else can-
Manasquan.
Yeah, so Joe Leone.
JoeLeones.com and all the socials are there.
Can you tell that he does my social media? Go ahead. I don't even know all this.
I know. When-
TikTok, Big Talk, whatever this stuff's called, Instagram.
Joe, you're going to see Joe on some more videos coming up. right now we have a series at Joe Leone's with Amanda, who's their chief hardware officer.
Yeah, she's
been
doing
doing
great.
a lot of great content and a lot of great shooting. She's been awesome. But the team at Joe Leone's is, they put out a great product, and I'm so proud to help them with some of their stuff online and social. So, Joe, thanks for coming.
Joe,
in
thank
today.
you so much for
Thank
coming.
you,
It was a
Mike.
pleasure,
You're my
brother.
man.
You rocked it out. Thank
Thank
you
you
very much. It was very cool.
I thought this was like an advertisement podcast.
It might have been.
And
it
you
might
are,
have worked.
man. Thanks a lot for
So
recognizing
don't
some of
forget
the
a little taste.
Little taste of
I
mozzarella?
gotta get a little taste.
I got
Should
you,
have bought a
bro.
nice ball for today. We all shared a nice ball.
We're gonna go across the street to Lucha's Pizza over here.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon.